Welcome to the Circle Star Firearms and Outdoors podcast, your home for the latest products and news in the shooting sports, hunting, and the great outdoors. And now, here are your hosts, Jake Cawthon and Jason Westmoreland.
Hey everybody, Jake, Jason, and once again, Dustin coming at you from the Circle Star Firearms and Outdoors podcast, this time talking about a whole lot of fun.
Talking about a whole lot of fun.
Maybe just...
Maybe too much fun sometimes.
Can you
Probably the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
The 22 long rifle.
And for the sheer fact of the versatility of it. And that's, we're sitting there talking today. The hard part about podcasts, I'll be honest with you, is creativity. Finding stuff to talk about.
You see all the Joe Rogans, the guys that are out there, and they always have a guest on. And there's reason for it.
Oh yeah, we've quickly learned that out. Because you only talk about so much.
Yeah.
But this is something that we talk about, and really it's because we kept going back to our 22 counter all day today, and we're talking about, all of our pistols are in one counter, and we got the 22 rifles behind them, and we talk about it, and really for me, kind of helped get the idea going, we were talking about suppressors, and he's like, I don't know if I want to get one just for rimfire, and I said, I'm going to tell you this. Of all my suppressors, it's my favorite because I shoot it the most. And then that kind of spurred the idea. I do shoot my 22s more than anything.
Oh, me too.
And by far, it's probably one of the most versatile of the guns out there, right? Whether it's, form, function, necessity, it covers every gambit.
It does. And like even my my 7-year-old, my wife, it's their favorite.
Oh yeah.
Like my wife is far from being a hunter. She's a better hunter than I am. Just you want to call it the fates, happenstance, whatever it is.
Well, the orcs on the wall shows it. No, the axis. The axis.
Yeah, and I believe Dustin's wife pretty much falls in the same category.
Yep.
Yeah, we hunt hard, but they hunt good, which is cool. But I used to love it. I go hog hunting on a semi-regular basis. Used to be, I was so mad at them, it was every freaking night. Mm-hmm. And then at some point, those 4 a.m. nights wear you out. But nothing made me happier. So we got cameras all around the house, like most people do. And she can actually link them up to our 75-inch TV in the house. So while she's folding laundry or doing anything, she'd pan one over to the garbage can. And she would intentionally leave the lid open.
Ooh.
And she had her little suppressed 22 right there, and the kid could be asleep and everything, and all she had to do was lean out the door. It had a little thermal on it. She was devious enough, planned it out to where they would fall into the garbage can.
Nice.
And she would send me these funny little texts like, you need to take the garbage out. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So 22s are fun. A lot of people love them for the fact or the forethought of survival rifles. Because the ammo is readily available.
It's
almost
cheap.
all the time. It is inexpensive.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it. Like the box we got right here in front of me, there's 525 22 longs, ready to rock and roll, in a square that's, 6 by 6 by 2?
Yeah, show the
like
people
that.
on the camera. They can. Yeah, it's a hefty box.
All the people's on the YouTubes.
And how much is it?
$34.
$34.
So if I was to get the same amount of rounds of 5.56, how much would that weigh? We'll just say a lot more.
A lot
I
more.
would say a lot more. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
And your cost right now, unfortunately, 5.56 for you're looking at $1 a round.
I mean, if you're lucky,
Depends on what you get.
Yeah, but you could be looking at
70 cents, 65, 70 cents for like the cheap.
So let's say $350, $375 for the cheap, or $33 for that, for the same amount.
I mean, and outside of defensive, this whole conversation go one of 100 different ways. But if you're looking for the guys from the survival standpoint,
Yeah.
you're not going to go shoot an elk, deer, whatever, a big game animal.
He says deer, but we're in Grimes County.
Well, I mean, if you
Legally.
go from the if I'm a survival standpoint, it's all fair game, right?
Yeah.
But realistically, if you're trying to feed you and your family for the night or a night or two, you're looking smaller game, rabbit, squirrel, things of that nature.
Maybe gopher.
Possum,
I can see a possum.
cat.
I can see a cat.
I'm thinking apocalypse. I've watched enough movies. Like everything's fair game.
Oh yeah. I mean, I ate a bobcat, so I mean, a house cat's
That's a cat.
not too far from it.
No,
right?
and
The lead was not that far.
God bless you for doing that.
But realistically, that's what you're going to target more often. You're going to see them more readily. They're more prevalent, and if you don't have a way or the means to store long term, you can't. There's a lot of wasted meat on a deer.
Yeah.
So you're going to shoot a bird, a squirrel, a rabbit, something smaller for dinner that night, and these are perfect for it. Shorter range. You're still highly accurate. Your cause minimal damage, and still very lethal on target.
For around here this time of year, for a more practical thing, our end is for snakes. Mm-hmm. Rat shot, especially in the revolvers and stuff, is awesome. Most people, I can think of my wife, great example, doesn't want to get within 20 feet of a snake, but if she asked you, she'd get within 10 feet of one. And to be able, even though she's got a phobia, to be, shaking a little bit, not real secure, but at 10 feet, being able to shoot and have, a volleyball size shot radius that's not going to ricochet back at her is awesome. Mm-hmm. That's about all it's good for. That and, shooting a cow or a donkey in the ass to get them out of your yard if they're there.
It'll do that.
Well, in the original intended purpose of rats.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't really have a spot where I shoot a lot of rats inside, but
I do. I got a buddy who's got a shed that we hang out in, and nothing makes everybody there happier than when a rat runs out.
Why am I never there on those nights?
Oh, it's so much fun.
And here's the other thing with the 22, and I think this is a great jumping off spot, talk about all the different ways and hows and means and whys, is that is, at least for me, my first entry into what was a real gun. That was so for me. I went from
brought to you by
beer.
I upgraded from a Daisy Red Ryder to a nylon 66.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
I know. And my brother and I, and my grandparents had a little property out in Bell County that there was a songbird safe anywhere, whether it was a cardinal, a finch, or whatever.
I have so much residual guilt about the amount of birds I killed as a kid that I have instilled it in my son, we don't kill birds.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're going to eat it, because that's how I was raised. Dad was like, hey, you want target shoot? Go shoot a bird. It's like, cool.
And it was one of those things, for us, it was so ingrained in what was, I'll just call it play, that our property was the high bank on the Little River. And my brother and I, and we have to realize we were little, 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
And so, as stuff would float down the Little River, we would pretend we were bandits or robbers or snipers or whatever it was, the idea of the day. And we would shoot logs or leaves or turtles or whatever it was, because those
long distance egrets.
Yeah, they're there.
There's always a story there.
My go-to was the Alamo.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yep, we had the Alamo too, and we would just shoot whatever's floating down the river as fun. And that was a good time.
Mine was Greens Bayou in Houston, and it was mullet.
Oh yeah.
And we were on top of, it's probably a 60, 70-yard shot in there, but you could see, the water was clear enough, you could see the school of mullet coming up, and you pick that big bull, and boom, and it goes crazy, flops out of the water. But it was awesome, wholesome, fun, cheap. So, but it taught you how to be responsible with a firearm too, which is huge.
I don't know what the statute of limitations on shooting stuff out of season is.
We about to find out.
But 2 years. No, then we're good. Because when I was a kid, I shot more dove off a bird feeder with a 22.
Mine was ducks.
Oh yeah. Oh, poor ducks.
Poor ducks.
Okay. Hey, I'll say now, my granddaddy paid me to shoot cormorants and those little cranes on the side of the ponds. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what I had this now. I think that's why I shoot as well as I do today.
We should call this the outlaw episode, because the 22s are just going to take us all down this rabbit hole that's going to be so bad.
Well, I get $5 for a cormorant. I got $20.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's good. Well, we were buying fish for our ponds, and
I'm going to call my granddad.
No, I get it.
right now.
those big gray cranes. I don't know what the hell they're called.
The great blue herons?
Maybe
God dang, dude.
they were
Maybe
20.
they were whooping cranes.
No, they weren't.
There was these big birds with these white heads
They were
that would
20.
come down and they had yellow beaks.
Dude, they were $20. That was good money.
Go away.
I'd go
My
shoot.
best. I came around a corner. I smoked one and its baby.
We're not going to be able to air this one, are we? It's only going to get worse.
It's
'cause
going to
I
be
won't-
one continuous bleep.
Yeah, this was 20 years ago.
It was a different time, kid.
It was.
Oh my gosh.
So, but
The most memorable experience I had with the firearm was with the 22. It was my father, and you embellish everything as a kid in your memories as you get older, but I still remember this like it was yesterday. I was about 6 years old. So on Greens Bayou, where we lived in Houston, there was at the time there was a bridge they were building, but no traffic on it yet. It was a bridge to nowhere, kind of going across the bayou. And my father and I, he used to go up there with his 10-22, and he would make these super long range shots at just what you were talking about, turtles, mainly snakes. He was full of snakes. The following day or that evening, I would always go down and you could find them. They'd washed up on the side. Grab them, check them out. Cool. One day we got there and did the same routine. We're walking down and there's this huge dead water snake. It was probably a water snake, but in my mind and according to my dad, it'll always be a cottonmouth.
oh yeah, every time.
But I reached down. I was like, "Hey, Dad, there's one dead right there." And I grabbed it by the tail to pick it up to show it to him, like I did every day with all these dead snakes, because we shot a lot of snakes.
Yeah. This one, not so much.
And as I picked it up, it recoiled and went up to bite me in the arm. And Dad quick drew a Ruger Mark II and shot the snake while I was holding it
Nice.
about 4 feet away from him. And like did a Dustin shot right in the head. Just and if I haven't told you that story with Dustin, he's an incredible shot. He did that to a copperhead from a long ways away. But he did it and he just dropped it, went limp. And then it was wriggling a little bit, and I dropped it, just terrified and crying. Little kid, 5, 6, whatever, 7 maybe. Gave him a big hug and everything. But dude, the 22 builds memories.
It does.
I mean, so when I was a kid, me, my dad, and my granddad, we would always go to this little pond on my granddad's property, and it was just full of water snakes. So, I mean, we'd go out there and shoot snakes for hours and hours on end. And that's one of my favorite memories growing up is just going out there and shooting snakes and, 10-22, Ruger single 6. My granddad loves Ruger. That's all he bought.
I don't blame him at all.
it was the first. By this point, I was probably 13, 14, somewhere in there, and I mowed yards. That's what I did in the summer times, like every other boy, it seems.
Yep.
And I'd saved up probably $100, maybe less. I don't even remember. But that was my first pistol. Was a Heritage Rough Rider. Bought at a gun show back when gun shows were still cool. And this one though was used, but it came with the box and everything. But it came with a quick draw holster that would tie to the inside of your thigh. You talk about a fun summer. I got really good at gunslinging. I was Gunsmoke. I was every Western star. I could pow.
You were a 12-year-old Laura Croft.
Pretty close. Short shorts and ponytail and everything.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, that's a mental image you don't
Laura
want.
Croft. No, her superseded yours. So I'm
If
good.
anybody out there has experience using AI-generated images, please make that.
God, please don't.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
We'll put it on Facebook like we did with my cake earlier today.
Oh,
That was cool cake. So, but let's talk about the 22. There are
Okay.
a ton of different options
options as far as the firearm, the ammo,
and what you can do with it.
and what you can do with it. So a great example of that, we don't have any of them in here today, but we have, Daniel Evans. I know Boogie's done it. I don't know if Dustin's done it.
I've dabbled.
Kobe Owens does it. The PRS shooting. Mm-hmm. These dudes are shooting over 300 yards with a freaking 22 and subsonic.
Yep. And that's the thing with it, though, is that so many people think that the 22 just doesn't have the range or the capacity of it. But so the PRSS is Precision Rifle Series, and they have a rimfire side of it. And there's categories or classes within that, right? There's production, there's open, and there's some limitations to it. But they're taking stuff like one of the ones I got for the guys on the YouTubes, this Springfield 2020.
Which is new and is fantastic.
So this would be a perfect option for the production class because the price point you have is what
There's
1,000,
three different
$1,500?
I
classes.
think it's $1,500.
Yeah,
Two, is there 2 or 3 classes? Two. Yeah.
And so this one here, what I like about it comes with an accuracy guarantee, which you don't get a lot in the rimfire. So it was guaranteed to shoot a 1 inch at 50 yards, which is the same as 1 inch at 100 yards with a centerfire rifle like a 308 or something else. But what Springfield has done a great job with, this is if you could get a 22 and a 700 action, this is pretty close to what it would be.
And that's what it looks like, too.
Yep. It runs it runs 700 triggers. They were smart, runs Ruger 1022 mags, comes factory thread. It's got a little weight to it, so you'll be good and steady. But you talk about a phenomenal time. You'll never come up with something that is more entertaining and frustrating at the same time as trying to shoot 22 long rifle so precise. And because of, and really a lot of it has to do with, one, the round's not going that fast, and two, that there is a lot of inconsistencies with the loading of what would be bulk 22 ammo. Beer.
I'm listening.
That because a lot of folks don't have access to 1,000 yards, shooting 300 is the equivalent of like a 6.5 to $1,000.
So, and if it's helped me because I've gotten out to about 300 yards. Mm-hmm. We have a 100-yard range at my house. I've got a 7-year-old who can stack bullets with a freaking 22 because there's no recoil. It's suppressed. He loves it. But I have always had at long distances had a very hard time learning how to read wind, look at the way the grass is blowing, different directions, and all that. You're going to learn with a 22. Shooting subs.
That's going to be the hardest thing on the 22 is the wind because they are subsonic. And that wind has so much time to push them.
And the reason behind that is because as soon as you pull the trigger, that round goes off, it's all out of your hands, right?
Yeah.
It's what's going to happen is going to happen.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Take the wheel.
Yeah.
And so the reason why you shoot subsonic is to take one of those variables out. It's that pass through the transonic barrier where it goes from super, which is faster than the speed of sound, to subsonic, which is slower than the speed of sound. And that crossing of that line, if you've ever seen like the pictures of the jet fighters where they have that little cloud building right around the plane where they're going from either sub to super, super to sub, they go in like faster speed of sound. What is that? Mach 1.
Mach 1.
But they don't do that in the U.S.
Not at all. That the subsonic allows you to take away that variable that as that round goes through that transonic barrier, it can create instability in the round. And so if you can remove the variable, you just adjust for the slower speed, you can then shoot or dial what you need. But they're 100% right because every year we do a squirrel shoot with some friends. And a couple years ago, I was shooting in it, and it was a good day. Weather was great. Shooting a well-built rifle that we had a 3 to 5 mile an hour variable about 50 yards out. We're shooting 100 yards.
Which is nothing with a 140 grain bullet.
Yes, you shoot a 6.5 and a 3 to 5, it's nothing. 308's nothing. These faster rounds, they're nothing. But in our squirrel shoot, it's just and what we do is we just get a bunch of our friends together. We barbecue. We have a good time.
We're not shooting squirrels.
We're not shooting squirrels. It's just called a squirrel shoot. Really what we're doing is we're shooting bullseye targets, and each round everybody throws in, $5, $3, whatever. And you get 10 shots, and whoever gets closest to the bullseye wins the pot. And then, round 2 starts, and everyone antes back up, and we shoot again, and you spend all afternoon, and it's just a freaking ball. But so all of us now, because of this, we've built out rifles like the Springfield 2020. We have really nice bolt actions or semi-autos that are, let's just call it match grade, right? And so on this particular Saturday, and this is my jam. Shooting long range, shooting precision is my thing, and this is kind of why I've taken over this side of our conversation.
You figure you'd be better at it.
You would figure on both of them, on the shooting side and the talking side. Either way, so we at 100 yards, you're shooting at 22, so you know there's no recoil, so you're not flinching at it. You get everything just right. You dialed everything in, so you're just dead on accurate. Put the crosshairs dead center, and pull the trigger. I'm gonna say pow because 22 is not that loud. It doesn't earn a bang.
I was going to say 90% of the people there are shooting with a suppressor anyway,
Yeah,
so
so-
it's really more of a.
Yeah. Right. So the round goes off, and so all of a sudden now it's, let's call it 6 inches left. It wasn't quite that far. It's probably closer to 3, but let's say you're 3 inches left, and you go, okay, and now you're in your head, right? All right, did I flinch? Did I pull? Did I push? Like, did I do something wrong?
Because you could do that next shot just like that, and
And that's what was happening. Is so, all of our scopes we have like mil dot style reticles, so we can actually see inside or measure inside how far our round is off. So it may be, a half MOA or 1 MOA or whatever it is. So you have the call. Do you hold? Do you hold off that,
that's point.
or do you hold true and then try to? Because we'd have a wind flag, and you can kind of watch it flutter. It's not moving; it's just kind of like fluttering, right? And then there's all these little things that come into play. Because if all of a sudden you start chasing around, it's like, hey, I was 2 MOA left, so I'm going to hold 2 MOA right. Now all of a sudden you're 4 MOA right because the wind died on that. The moment you broke the trigger and the round ran off, and all of a sudden now you're chasing it, and you're all these little variables go in your head, and now you're 7 rounds in, you got 3 left, and we're all competitive. So
You're
now
dancing around the bullseye.
you're dancing around, and you're getting frustrated because you're trying to win, and your buddies are, and we're all talking crap behind you.
It can get frustrating.
But it's good gosh, it's so much fun.
Last year was the most pissed off I've ever been at a shoot. Mm-hmm. And when I say pissed off, I mean I was at a level where, like, right after I shot, I left because I'd been training for this, and
That's what we're doing. We're all training in our backyard. That's how competitive we are.
I knew I was going to smoke everybody because I had an 1 inch, a quarter at 100 yards every time. I had it all dialed in. No matter what the conditions were, I was ready. Mm-hmm. I shot 2 rounds.
Till you weren't.
And they hit exactly where they were supposed to. And I'm like, cool. 3rd shot, didn't even see where it went. And I'm like, what the hell? 4th shot, didn't see where it went. I don't know what happened. And still to this day, I don't know what happened. But about the 6th shot, I saw it shoot. It was hitting about 6 feet below the target. I was freaking out. I called Night Force afterwards, just like, what the hell is going? Oh, and these aren't.
So hold on. Let's time
probably
out.
with me saying that.
Let's time out.
These aren't cheap 22s.
We are hyper competitive.
We're $3,000 into a 22.
Yeah, we're 2 or 3 grand into 22 just for bragging rights for a year because we're around each other all the time. And if I can say, well, when I won that squirrel shoot,
remember
that time you shot 6 foot in front of a target and I smoked you, took all your money.
So the funny thing is, I don't have one. I borrow people's.
Yeah, which works. But dude, I was so upset. And I'm calling Night Force. I'm like, what is going on? Like and I went back home. Like nothing would. I have a feeling I know, but I don't want to say it. But I went.
I think they call that the yips.
I thought it was the shanks.
Oh.
So I went home, pulled the trigger, 6 feet below the target. The only thing, and I know nobody there. I don't know that, but I feel like nobody there.
That sounds like us.
But they probably would. I feel like my turret got spun.
Get sabotaged.
That is the only explanation. Because I went and, dude, I still have the same scope on. 3 rounds in a row, and I saw them all hit about 6 feet in front of the target. Made my adjust it. It's my fault. I didn't have it zeroed out properly. I wasn't on 0, so I couldn't look at it and be like,
See, that sounds like something I do to you.
Absolutely sounds like something you would do to me. And you were there, and you were next to me while I was shooting. And I'm not going to point any fingers.
Even
but
if you
any
re-indexed
asshole
it, I
were to
would
do
just
it-
give you a full revolution back to 0 so you wouldn't know. You have to know the little numbers underneath. I know you don't know that.
See, I'm not that. I'm not that evil. I would have just dropped a
aware of
deviled
the
egg and
numbers,
sauerkraut fart right next to him while he was shooting.
Yeah, I'm well aware of the numbers because when I get about that to where I see 4, I'm like, oh shit, I'm shooting a long way.
So that's my thing. My favorite of the 22s, outside of some of my suppressed pistols just for fun, is the long range side of it. Trying to get hyper accurate with a round that's just not known for it. Not that it's not capable of it, just not known for it.
So I'm going to talk about my favorite 22. That's yours?
There you go.
So for those on the YouTube, check this out. So this is the HK 416 clone in 22 long rifle made by Umarex, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool. Has the cool pop-up sights. Everything looks like an AR pistol about it.
It's a true clone of the 416.
It is
That's
metal.
fun.
So it's not plastic like the Smith & Wesson M&P 1522. What's cool about this? So I've taken mine and gone full on dumb with it. I put a brace on it, obviously put a suppressor on it, and I put a Trijicon Reap IR on top of it. And I did this about 2 years ago.
So what you should always do if you're curious, you always want to spend more on the optic than you do the gun. Because that's how you get the job done. You can't shoot what you can't see. So in Jason's case, we put a $9,000 thermal on a $500 22.
But
Continue, sir.
this is what happened. So we did this
What'd you see, sir?
We did this about 2 years ago. And since then, I've fallen in so much love with this firearm. I probably it's my go-to now. Like, there's been times we've even been out like to go hog hunting with people that brought to you by beer.
Someone's bound to sponsor us with beer.
Like professional hog hunters, and they're all breaking out, they're crazy pig rigs, and I pull out a 22 and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Wait and see."
You don't even know.
You don't even know. Dude, in the last 5 years, 70, 80 coyotes. And in my defense, in 22s and everything else, I, for whatever reason, live on a coyote pipeline. I don't understand it, but I can kill 3 in my backyard, and the next night there's going to be 3 there. But nutria-rats, raccoons, what was it, 2 weeks ago? I killed 14 possums and 3 raccoons in my yard with that same gun in like 3 hours.
Oh,
Just
we've had a ton of fun.
walking around.
We've had a ton of fun sitting on your on your dock and just shooting all the little water
Oh
snakes.
my God, it's so much fun, and it's semi-automatic, has a 25 round magazine, but it is just a killing machine. Like,
And with the can on it, it's just
Dead quiet.
It's metal clinking.
I killed, like, it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. I had the call going. A coyote ran in. She big female ran in. I put it right between her eyes. She dropped, and it was so quiet. Everything was so perfect. There was a little bit of wind. I didn't realize it. 5 feet behind her, another head pops up. It's another adult coyote that sat there and looked at her and looked at me and got another dome shot. So I stacked like within 3 feet of each other, 2 coyotes with that 22. I love that 22. Pigs, if you do a dome shot with a 22, they're going to hit. But Daniel Evans, our general manager, great example of what the round, it's a wild round when it gets inside of a rib cage.
Oh yeah.
I went hunting with him a while back. We had 3, they're bigger than Schultz. They were probably 100, 110 pound pigs, ran across the road. He had his 22 and he shot 3 times. Dunk, 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 as they're running in front of us 20 yards. Each one squealed. I knew he hit each one. I'm like, whatever. We found all 3 of them within 50 yards. He did center body mass shots. The bullet went in, did its thing, bounced around, and killed all 3 of them.
That'd be dang.
So
I'll be dang.
if you ever go to South Texas
Yeah, Papa. Sorry.
and you want to have some fun, take a suppressed 22 and corner Sendero, because I guarantee you in 5 minutes to 10 minutes, there will be 3 to 10 javelinas.
I was about to say javelina. But you're not going to kill 3 to 10. No. If
Two.
you're thinking
You can
about
only
it,
get 2. That's why you bring a buddy.
2 a year. That's it.
You can't kill them with a rimfire.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're a game animal, sir.
that's why this story is 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. This has never happened.
Or at night.
This has never happened.
The same rules as a deer.
But stop. Dude, we're never going to be able to air this episode.
But if you earhole a javelina with a 22 that's suppressed, it's a lot of fun.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
In theory, not that anybody's ever done this.
But that goes to
You
show
know how we don't get sponsors?
This?
This.
Nah, this is more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There might be like some super outlaw company out there.
You never know.
I mean, we're out there and we're still
Here we are.
here. We are.
But that goes. Not everybody reads the Outdoor Annual, apparently, but that goes to show.
What's that?
Well, that goes to show the versatility of the rifle.
No, I don't read the Texas Outdoor Annual because they put all this shit on my telephone.
Oh yeah, it's not the
I
same.
need it printed out so I can take a crap and read it.
That's the only time you're going to read it.
Yeah. For real. Like, I grew up, I mean, that's what you do. And now they it's all online. No.
No.
It's and it's different.
Ironically,
It's,
the paper is the right texture for when you're done.
there you go. That's about all I want to use it for. Yeah.
But no. Even though you're sitting there talking about a javelina,
I'm sorry, wild pigs.
Allegedly.
yeah. But you touched on exactly what I was going with. That is that for me, when I'm out hunting, I mean, whether I got pigs in a trap or if I got a couple that just need dispatched, I'm not going to waste a $75 to $1 round on a wounded pig, or really anything for that matter.
No.
22 gets the job done.
It does. I hate to say it. I mean, really thick-skulled animals, which, if you're a rancher, if you're in the livestock, if you do cattle or do anything, occasionally something horrible happens where you have to put either a cow or a horse down. And cow's one thing is a horse is totally different. But 22 will do it. Do it quick. Mm-hmm. And I mean, hell, when we go allegedly when we go alligator hunting, we use a 22.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the people on Swamp People use a 22.
Right. But they've got a hook in it.
That's the difference.
That's the law.
Ah.
Yeah.
So we
do too. God, this is a horrible episode.
Allegedly.
This is so bad.
everything is 2 years in the past.
Everything is in the past.
Oh my gosh.
So the 22 is the greatest round ever. It's the most fun.
They always say that weed's a gateway drug to illicit behavior.
The 22 is the weed.
Yeah, it's the weed of guns.
That's how you get started.
So,
And you continue.
yeah, but
What else we got? What else?
we talked about my favorite 22 rifle. We talked about Jason's favorite. What's yours? And I see it. It's just behind you, and I have my own thoughts behind it.
Dude.
I want to hear your.
And the
opinions.
only reason that's not the one I pulled out is because he grabbed it before I did, little turd.
Well, it's the most.
And he's like, this was my first 22 rifle. And I was like, no shit. It was everybody's first 22 rifle.
yeah.
Yeah.
You turned 5.
I mean, except for Jake's, because he got a nylon 66.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it was probably from 66. I don't know where it ended up, but we just had it.
look at that beautiful.
So that's the official gun of your 5th birthday.
Absolutely.
You turned 5 in Texas.
Tell everybody
you get a
listening on the
Ruger
radio
1022.
what do you got in your hand?
So for everybody listening, and those of y'all listening on or watching on the YouTubes, this is Ruger 1022, just standard 1022
The
carbine.
traditional. How long has that model been in? It just had a birthday.
50 years?
60.
60 years.
Yeah.
60th, and they have not changed a damn thing because they made the wheel and they
It's
made the Oreo.
It's the Oreo cookie of 22s.
You don't need to make it any better. It's already perfect.
All right. So
Pop
here-
missed the birth of his first child. Why?
all right. So here's the deal. Original Oreos are great, but double stuffs are better.
That's true. And so here's what's great about the 1022.
No,
Yes.
the ratio's all off.
I'm drowning it in milk anyway.
So
I don't care.
Hold on.
No, wait, because you're gonna twist it in two. You're either gonna dunk it or you're gonna twist it in two and lick it. Double stuff. That's too much.
Who eats the Oreo for the cookie? It's the frosting. That's the good stuff. The cookies is the binder.
My God, it's the
It's
combination.
the
of
delivery of the
two.
aspect.
The hell? No.
Yes.
Well, you could just buy the freaking stuffing then.
Yeah, it's called mega stuff. It's too much. Double stuff, if you're going to get to ratios, is where it's at.
You're wrong.
It's one stuff per cookie wafer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Nope. Nope. You are going to hell.
That's that big brain stuff.
Nope. People, I hope you go to hell and there's no milk.
There's a bunch of dry
Just a
Oreo cookies.
bunch of freaking dry, double stuffed Oreo cookies.
You have no idea how hard it was not to spit my beer on the mic right now.
So let's talk about the 1022.
Oh,
So here's what.
arguably the best, and they've made it in other calibers. We will talk about that in a minute. But arguably,
Those are exceedingly rare.
I love mine.
oh my God, shut up! I will stab you in the neck with a spoon.
This is apparently a point of contention.
It is, because I snaked it out from underneath them.
It's,
You mean
Yep.
just like I snaked this one today?
Yeah.
Nice.
no, Anyways, what? It's the elegance. It's the design. It's the perfect. It's the rotary magazine when everybody else has been using the stick mags. It's perfect.
Here's it for me. You can't kill it, no matter how hard
No,
you
it's
try.
that- it's the
It lives-
870,
It lives in
Remington
it. It
870.
lives in every boat, every tractor, every farm truck. You know, it's in an old dusty corner of a barn. You could find it in 100 years and pull the trigger. It will always go bang. It doesn't need lubrication. It doesn't need care. It doesn't need to even be talked nice to. You just abuse it. And it's like, yes, sir, thank you.
I did
Well,
it hurt.
I beg to differ because the one I grew up with, after about probably 15 to 20,000 round bricks, kind of got a little sluggish
Bricks.
and needed some extra lube.
Yeah, because you abused it.
Absolutely.
they're made
But
for.
but hold on though. He didn't say it quit working. It says it got sluggish. It kept working. It just wasn't working optimally.
And this is the platform we're used to, the open site. But they've always come tapped and drilled to where you could, and they're one of the few rifle companies that has enough sense to send it with a base, a scope base, which is freaking fantastic because everybody else all the other rifle companies, you have to buy a separate base, which is cool, keeps the economy going. Be cooler if you sent your own base with you, but whatever. So you got to find one. Hopefully we have one in stock for that particular rifle. But dude, we've got, I remember mine. I had was it a 1x4 Tasco? I believe so. But now we got guys putting $400 optics on top of these, and they're performing.
So mine.
Shut up.
So mine had a fixed 4x32
Maybe a little more.
Tasco.
We get dumb. We do dumb stuff with guns.
But it had the see-through rings on it, so you could use the scope,
Those
or
are
you could
cool.
look through the rings at your irons.
Dude, I don't know why those don't still exist. They were genius.
Because you had a chin weld when you're trying to look through the scope.
Doesn't matter when you're 10.
Survival reasons. Sir.
It's for science.
But I killed more water snakes with that 1022 than anything else on the planet.
And the best part is for whatever reason,
What type of water snakes? Was it like Nerodia rambifera, Nerodia fasciatica pluens? Like, I needs to know.
It was the kind that were swimming in the
he
pond.
speaks the postal tongue.
I speak Spartan. I kill them, but I know what they are.
So here's the thing with the 1022 for me is that of all the gun industry has decided that this is the pony we're going to back. And there are more aftermarket parts for this than
Holy crap.
any other gun.
In variants.
And there's variants. So you could go super high end with Kitiv or Kortson or Voodoo.
Taxol.
Taxol is up there, or Tactical Solutions, they're up there. There's people that do their own 1022 builds.
And these guys they're one of the few that have made other people come to their magazine platform.
Yeah.
I was about to say, there
Which
are
is
more-
unheard of.
My Springfield here
Yeah.
runs the 1022 mag.
Everybody has proprietary mags, but this gun has been around. It's so established.
Because it's the Oreo cookie.
It's
22.
perfect.
The 1022 magazine is the Glock magazine of the 22 world.
Oh, it is by far.
Yeah.
Agreed. And this is where we're with it. Travis
And
just
you can get that extendo, that 25
That's
round.
Stendo mag.
And Travis, I mean, we just built one out for Travis. It's the, it was a special edition from Ruger. It was to to commemorate the 2024 Olympic shooting team. So it's got that cool
that
boys,
blue and red one.
got that
Oh
cool boy
my
stock,
God.
and we threw that Diamondback Tactical on top of it. 100 yards, just stacking them. He's getting good enough. He's scary.
Well, we're going to see when we go bear hunting because everybody's hiking 6 miles in the wood with 90 pounds on their back. And
Except for Travis.
if he shanks that first shot and
know
misses a
why.
bear, everybody's not going to be happy.
No, we'll figure it out.
Just like 3 straight up slaps on the
He's,
back
he's
of the
going
head
to
in a
figure
row.
out what do you call it? Passive aggressiveness is
Oh, yeah.
on the way out.
Oh, you mean petty?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we kind of covered rifles. Oh, and then if we want to talk about the 1022, there was a variant made in the 80s
Yep.
through I think the late 80s, very early 90s.
Shithead.
They made a 1022 Magnum.
so
That
bad,
Jake
it's
and I
glorious.
both had talked about in depth before and how bad we wanted one.
Mm-hmm.
And we're at the old store, the little bitty store, and I see Jake talking to somebody. It is little, right?
There's more to that story. He's leaving out big details.
Oh no, go ahead.
So what happened was
What happened was,
one of our customers wanted something, and he was sitting in his gun safe talking about what does this gun value trade in.
yep,
And like any good criminal investigator, I took in the whole picture, not just what was shown to me. And I could see in the background a 1022 Magnum. I was like, hey, what's up with that 1022 22 Mag in the back? He's like, oh, I got it. I was like, hey, you interested in selling that? I'm like, you got to guess, what do you give me for it? And I threw him a number. It was a really good number on my side. And he goes, yeah, that'll work. And that's how I obtained my 1022 Magnum.
So my side of the story, shithead over here, knew how bad I wanted one of these. He wanted one too. I figured one day we'd co-own one. And I see him making a deal. And it's weird in a tiny store to be that quiet with somebody.
Yeah.
And he's doing something I can't quite tell the transaction that's going on. And he's from me to where he is right now. If you can see me,
I was
4 feet
buying-
away.
I was buying drugs. That's what I was doing.
And there's like a lot of whispering and shit going on. So I know something's going down. And I see a rifle come in. And as soon as it comes in, I see it go back out the front door.
Hey, let me take this for you.
And it was so quick that I couldn't quite tell what it was, but I had a pretty good damn idea.
I'm like the gun version of David Blaine.
And he walks back in and he's grinning so big.
I've seen him. He's fucking weird.
I knew it was one of two things. I knew it was either the 44 mag, which I probably would have fought you over.
Oh, God, I want one of them so bad. They've gotten crazy expensive.
Yeah, they're stupid. Or the 22 mag. And, does all the official paperwork and everything. And he's like, guess what I got? You shithead.
So
And now I want one so bad.
So here's the problem
I want
with
the
them,
44
though.
mag worse, though.
I have been on Ruger for a couple years now. Hey, 1022 mag. Hey, 1022 mag. You
Hey,
making a
we
22 mag?
actually we got invited to a super secret meeting not too long ago where we were talking to a board of people who has
Something to do with it.
something to do with it, and we presented that to them, and they said they'd been listening.
So it'd be nice
I don't
to
know
see
what
it
that
come out.
means, but they said they've been listening.
So here was the problem with the 1022 Magnum is that to slow down the bolt speed of the Magnum round versus the 22 in the same basic receiver frame, they used a tungsten bolt. The upside to tungsten, super strong. The downside of tungsten, super brittle. So if you don't change the recoil springs out religiously, your bolt speed increases and you don't necessarily notice. And the next thing you do, you crack a bolt. And if you crack a 1022 Magnum bolt, you are
Done.
SOL.
Done. Yep.
So I have a question.
Where's my 22 Magnum that he's had in his safe for like 4 years? I don't know.
No, I was gonna.
Oh, sorry.
Would you have been madder if he stole your high school sweetheart or got the 1022 Magnum?
That's not even my coolest rimfire, dude.
Though, hold on. So is
There's a lot of thought going into this.
So my better rimfire.
I was really fond of her, but like she wasn't marriage material.
So
She was fun, but I would, if I would have got that 1022 Magnum when I was 18, guess what? I'd still have it.
See, and as much as I love my 1022 Magnum, it's not my favorite rimfire that I own. I was able to acquire
Yeah, go for it.
a
Brag.
1 of 500, very limited edition Winchester 9417 HMR.
Yep.
That one's my favorite.
I was there for that.
And I haven't shot it.
I've only shot it once. It just sits in the safe. It's perfect.
Thread that some bitch.
Fuck no.
It ain't doing you no good just sitting in a safe. Let's thread it.
The only downside is
Dude, that's one that's always blown me away too.
it's been shot. Someone had a scope on it, and
Dude,
know.
it is. So we were talking earlier about subsonic and supersonic. That's one that's always blown me away is how quiet a 17 gets. It's flying supersonic.
it's just wind noise.
I
It's
need to thread mine.
quiet.
Oh yeah, it's fun. I can't swear to this, but allegedly, if you're working an off-duty security job and they have a stray cat
Quit
problem,
talking about cats. Jesus Lord. I'm a huge. I love cats, guys. If you're out there, I'm Bob Barker. Spay and neuter your pets.
that's what I was doing. I was neutering them.
Well, I'm no biologist, but I can tell you I can shoot the nuts off of a gnat at 100 yards with my 17.
You're absolutely right. These after-work podcasts are better.
Did you see the girl in here the other day with her super short hair? She had the shirt that said, "I'm no gynecologist, but I'm willing to take a look."
Oh yeah.
Kill me. So I talked to her. She's from Brazil. And dude, she was funny. Military, obviously, with a shirt like that. Military. And I'm like, the more I talked to her, the funnier she got. She reminded me of, what's the character from Scooby-Doo? Daphne? No.
Velma
Delma. Yeah, yes. That was her.
with a V.
With a V? Velma?
Velma.
Yeah. That's her.
I get that.
With a funny shirt and a military attitude. She had me laughing, but I was sitting there trying to talk to, and she was asking really smart questions and everything. You know, I'm trying, but her shirt just killed me. And I'm like, I can't anymore. I got to talk. Your shirt is effing killing me. She's like, "Oh, you like that stuff too?" And I'm like, "Apparently."
Apparently so. So we talked about the rifles.
right.
Anything big in the pistol world that you like?
Yeah, I mean, to me,
Because there's so many 22s. That's the hard
pistols
part.
are where it's at. With
So, my favorite early on was the Heritage, the single action army style, which is basically what you got in your hand.
I started with the exact same pistol. We
Everybody does. They're $100.
yeah, and back in the day, I think they were 60.
Maybe. Your day, like 15.
Stub you.
Inflation gets you.
What's great about them, we'll let us, Dustin, what makes these cool and talk about Rad Shot?
So, so this is a Ruger Single 6, and one, they're super fun because you get to practice all the gunslinger stuff that you grew up watching on TV,
Like me, the one I bought.
fanning the hammer, quick draw stuff, all that good stuff.
Now, why is the Ruger Single 6 so much more than the Heritage Rough Rider?
So on the Ruger Single 6, you have a true blued finish versus a paint or a Cerakote.
It is beautiful.
It
For those
is.
of you guys who can see it on YouTube, it is, yeah. If you're 9 years old, that is every cowboy's gun.
But in addition to that, they have a target style rear sight with a large front blade. So they have a better sighting system than you would have on your Ruger Wranglers or your Heritage Rough Riders. But the coolest thing about the Single 6 is that you can get a 22 Magnum cylinder for them.
Now, you could do that with a Rough Rider too, right?
You can. But Ruger was the originator of that.
And
Now, are any of them SADA? Are any of them double action?
See, that would be my favorite, which was the Diamondback Sidekick.
Which the Sidekick is killer. You're going to pay a little more for it.
So tell us about the Sidekick.
Yeah.
I didn't grab one, but tell us about it.
So the Sidekick is along the same styling, so it's got that Western look to it, but it is a double action, single action revolver.
So you can't twirl it as loosey goosey.
No. But
But you should never twirl any gun.
unless you're Wyatt Earp or
Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday. But it's got a swing out cylinder. So instead of opening up the loading gate and then putting one in one at a time,
And that is the most annoying part of the Heritage and that single
It
action
is.
style. But so you got to swing out gate.
but it is a 9-shot revolver. So you can stick 9 of them in there, rip them off double action as fast as you can pull the trigger, and then pop the cylinder out, hit the ejection rod, and then load it up again and go.
And the nice thing too is it actually ships with both cylinders, so you get a 22 mag and a 22 long rifle with it.
And here's the thing about the fit and finish of the Wrangler compared to the Rough Rider. Now the Rough Rider, like Jake and I said, that's our first one. A lot of people buy them. I'm not going to say they're disposable, but you put them in your John boat, you put them in your toolbox, you put them in your tackle box, whatever. They just stay there.
They live in the barn loaded full of rat shot.
You cover them, you just baptize them in WD-40, and they're there. They're not known for being overly accurate. The action doesn't feel crisp. When you hold the gun, you can feel.
It's like a lot of things, right? You know, if you compare a Toyota to a Lexus, same company, same idea, same general shape of cars, but the fit, finish, the creature comforts, all the little details is better in the Lexus. It's the same thing between the Heritage and like the single six.
This feels to me like a Security 6, which if you're a Ruger fan, Security 6, awesome gun. Don't believe they make it anymore. No. But good God, everything about it's solid and crazy accurate. Where's the Rough Rider? It's going to be more of your... No,
Your
that's-
1995 Chevy S10.
There you go.
And what the neat
Which
thing,
wasn't a bad vehicle.
oh, I had a 96 Z71. I loved it. Still love it.
You had a Z71
Did.
in 96?
I mean, that was 2001. I had a 96 in 2001.
When did you start driving? That wasn't your first truck, was it?
Yeah.
You're a turd.
It was nice. It was
Rich
It
kid.
was champagne and everything. I loved that truck. Had a lot of fun in it. Anyway, but so the other thing is we don't have any examples to talk about, but as you go through time, there's a lot of companies, and I don't think ROM's in business. Either ROM or RNG, but I think it's the same idea, same folks. But in the late 60s, early 70s, and when they come through, I love every single one of them, is because it's either ROM, ROHM, or
thought it was-
RG, or maybe it's RHOM. Either way, they made a lot of inexpensive pistols for folks, but what they really
A
hit a
lot.
home run with, yeah, they made a lot. What they really hit a home run with is that they were really well known of making 22 clones of bigger guns, whether it was a Smith & Wesson K-frame, a Colt Police Positive, just a ton of different styles of kind of that idea. So you had a 22 trainer version of a 357, a 44 mag, whatever it was, and they're great copies. And the idea behind it was, and it still kind of holds true today with a lot of the guns, is that you could shoot them as much as you want for very little money. You can get that practice and that trigger time, that sight time, that feel.
You're talking about the replicas of full-size guns and everything, 22s, which is super common. We talked about we opened up with the 416 and everything.
Everybody makes them.
We have a customer named Wayne who 4 or 5 years ago, we sold him a Tommy gun, 22. And we
Yes,
we sold it to him way too cheap. The magazines alone are what, $250. You can't if you can find them. And
See, that's always been kind of my regret through some of this gun dealer arc, especially early on when you're young, you're hungry,
Yeah.
you don't got any
we're
money.
damn sure not young. I'm still hungry.
Yeah, you
I'm
can't,
always hungry.
and you can't get high on your own supply, so you got to
Burt
sell this
Reynolds, who
stuff.
likes burgers.
Absolutely.
That that was one of the ones. That one and that old Winchester with the copper that supposedly killed the bear. Those are the
It
two,
had the letter with it.
those are the two that I regret selling the most. But that 22 Thompson was super cool.
He still got it.
I know he
He'll
does.
never let it go of it.
Nope.
Ever. All right. So 22 pistols. So we're going from the revolver. Let's go to a more modern. Jake is not a fan of this gun. I'm gonna preface this whole talking about this firearm that I'm about to bring
There's
out.
nothing wrong with it. It's just not my favorite.
Yep.
I would have chosen another.
There is 100 reasons I like this gun, and I'll list the top 5.
I would take the top 97, sir.
All right. Well, if everybody's got time.
I don't have enough beer.
It's the Keltec P17. It's got a ton of. So I am Keltec's biggest fan, and their most negative. Sometimes they dump stuff out that is crap to me.
Oh yeah,
But most of
they've
the
got some
time,
turds.
what was the
RDB.
the 5.56? It was that it. The 5.56 rifle that kind of its stock would fold into.
Yeah. I think that's the RDB.
Yeah.
Was it the RDB Survival where their marketing campaign was like for the people who drink their own pee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. So no, but
Which sounds like Jason.
the sub 2000,
It's sterile and he likes the taste.
I do. The PMR 30, the CMR 30, all these guns, like they've knocked it out of the park with the KSG, the KS7. I love their firearms, and I love this one. So and I only have one little negative thing to say about this firearm, and it is that it has the same grip as their 22 Magnum pistol. If they could have made it a little bit smaller, and I get it with the 5.7 or a 22 mag, you're gonna need a wider or a longer grip or wider in depth. I don't know what's that long. Wide? Anyways, you're gonna need a
little more that way.
You're gonna need a magazine
Dimensions are hard.
that has more length. They didn't have to do that with this gun, but other than that, this gun shoots flawlessly. It'll eat any ammo. It's threaded. It comes with
The red dot.
with the either already tapped for an R&R, or like this one, it's $400 and you get it with the Crimson Trace.
I mean, the value to price is
It cycles flawlessly with a can. It's just, and it's light. I love this pistol. Jake hates it because, I don't know, I think the looks.
there. Maybe. There's something about it. It's just not my jam. There's others in the counter that I like better.
But if you're into shooting and you're into consistency and, all the things, normal people are worried about, this is a great.
The FN 502 is a great pistol.
I like that 502. I like that M&P 22C.
I like the Glock 44,
I do too.
which is a 22, and I'm not even going to start.
You can do that all day.
Yep. Glock models make no sense. We could do that.
Oh my gosh.
But here's the thing about it.
What's a Glock 40?
A Glock 40 is a long slide 10 millimeter. A Glock 22 is a 4 1/4 inch 40 cal.
Glock
A
44.
Glock 45 is a 4 1/4 inch 9 mil. It's ridiculous. There is no sense of order. I hate it.
No.
And I love watching him get flustered. And Glock, if you're listening, I hope you never change, just to piss him off.
I don't think she's going to change it. I think she knows exactly where they're at. They're just going to keep rocking and rolling, printing those checks.
We
If
actually
they're
had
going
a
to change
customer in here.
anything, make the mags all metal. You'll gain more capacity.
We had a customer in here about 3 months ago who was going to hang out with the Glocks for a weekend, and super cool. She brought all her grandkids in here and bought them all Glocks
Interesting.
before she went off. I thought that was super cool. Yeah, some of our small town royalty.
That's cool.
Anybody local listening knows who we're talking about.
Good for them. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
There you go.
Yeah. It's same tier of people, though.
They're great at karate.
Yeah.
They are some of the most upstanding. Like,
And if you ever needed a gym, like, for everything, like a
You
total,
mean like a total
like
gym?
a total
yeah,
gym?
yeah, like a total gym for your house, they'd be perfect for it.
I think I'm pretty squared away on the 12-ounce curls, sir.
But that goes to show that, we just kind of burst the service in an hour here.
Oh, wait.
Over the
Can I talk about
greatness.
one more?
No, you're done.
I'd like to talk about one more.
Okay, one more.
Can I hate?
Okay.
I want to hate.
Okay, after he hates, I'm going to love.
So I'm going to throw some hate out there with the 22. And it's hard for me because it is literally one of my favorite companies. It's going to go to Henry. So
Oh wow.
I love Henry. They're still family owned. They're small.
They make it the same place they've always made them.
They're a fantastic company. The quality of everything they put out is fantastic. Well, here in the last couple of years, they put out some new products. One's a revolver. I dig their revolver.
This doesn't sound like a lot of hate.
Yeah, it's getting there. Everything they put out, I have been a fan of until they put out their 22 rifle. It is a pump. Aesthetically, it's super pleasing. I dig it. The problem with this gun is when you go to rack it, it has a slide on top on the bolt that comes back, and it will slice you open every time. Now, and when I say it'll slice you open, like it will fillet you to where you need to go to the hospital. It is if you hold it correctly and you rack it, when your hand's in the position where it should be, you have these 2 points that are going to come back and just slice you wide open. So much so that I keep it on the wall in case somebody really wants it in the store, but I try to talk them out of it.
See, I grew up with one of those. Mine was a Rossi.
No, the Rossi's totally, it doesn't have, I grew up with the Rossi. It doesn't have that. That bolt comes all the way back. It's angled and it's sharp, and it will get you.
Didn't the
But
Winchester,
does that one go off if you rack it too hard?
didn't the 1906s and the 1896s do the same thing?
Yeah. And when were they produced? And no, they weren't that sharp.
When men were men.
That shit is sharp. Like,
Yeah.
just
So,
saying.
I mean, he would know he was there.
I had the Rossi. Dude, I grew up.
So I grabbed a Henry too.
Oh, that's yeah.
But I've had a absolute
That's some bitch right there. is
ball of fun.
Awesome.
Fantastic rifle.
Yeah. 1022 lever action.
That's probably
going to
be the only Henry I ever have anything negative to say about.
I'm
Because
not a huge fan of their Homesteader. It's okay.
I
There's a spot for it. It's just not my
no, it's one of my favorite semi-automatic 9mm. I don't like the variant they put out with that doesn't take Glock mags.
Yeah, true.
I think proprietary mags are petty, but they're one that takes Glock mags. I think it's free. Have you shot one?
No.
Dude, stays on target. Yeah, it's balanced. It's perfect.
Maybe that's what I don't have any time behind it. But see, like this one here, it's the just lever action Henry
Octagon
22
barrel.
octagon barrel, 2 feds, so you can just dump a whole bunch in the end. You can't kill it if you tried. It's like the lever action of the 1022s.
And they're accurate. Matter of fact,
They're
accurate.
super
I
accurate.
won the open sight class for the squirrel shoot last year with one of those.
There you go. So,
Yeah, killer.
but that just goes to show, in an hour or a little over now, that for
Has it really
something
been that long?
Yeah, something as basic as a 22 that people underestimate, underappreciate how vital it is and the role it plays in the firearm universe.
It's huge. And we probably sell more 22s caliber wise than anything else. We sell a bunch of 22s.
I mean, when you compare the ammo and the guns and everything else, 22 is the most.
Before we close out, speaking of the ammo is a huge impact. You were talking about the subsonic out to, where they're shooting them over 300 yards. I've gotten a little bit into the PRS. I haven't entered a tournament yet, but I'm pretty confident out to about 300 yards. A lot of the guys are using what Dustin has in front of him or Jake has in front of him.
And because we're in that space and this is what we're doing, we stock a lot of this really high-end match grade stuff. And you can there's even kits out there that it's gotten so accurate, or competitive PRS stuff is so grown so much that you can actually reload your own 22s now, which blows my mind.
Wild.
But like for me, this Ely match, it is subsonic. It's super consistent. If I wanted, this is what I'll be shooting at the squirrel shoot out of my tricked out 1022.
You're working, sir. Sorry.
Oh, I mean,
He can show up after work.
yeah, I'll show up. I'll be there. I'll take a lunch.
A thirsty lunch.
Man, all of a sudden I feel a little feverish.
If you go, I go. So
Either way, but this is what I like, my gun likes, and I can shoot very consistent, very regular with it. and that's what I buy.
And how much is that box for 50 rounds?
$20.
Okay. So my gun hates that. For whatever reason, I have a Christensen Arms or a Christensen Ranger. For $27, I get 50 rounds of the CCI green tag.
We should have gone la-dee-da.
You should have, because this is way cheaper. But
Pinky out.
it's the only thing that I found in that gun that really is consistent.
And
I know that's a better ammo that you got right there. I know that should be more consistent, but for whatever reason, I've had great luck with this stuff.
And I'm seeing that across the board in a lot of different guns. That green tag tends to be for the, let's call it match grade 22, kind of the standard to beat.
Yeah.
So
Dustin?
I went a totally different direction. This is not match grade ammo. It is CCI Quiet 22. And what makes this one different than any other
how slow it
subsonic
is.
ammunition for 22 is how slow it is. So the green tag,
You could almost run faster than it.
almost. So the green tag is 1,070 feet per second. The Ely,
1,050.
The Ely is 1,050. This is 710 feet per second. So out of a bolt action suppressed 22, it is obscenely quiet.
You can actually hear the firing pin hit
You can
the primer.
literally, and if you want to ever really quantify, like get in your head how quiet it is, go out at night to a range.
It's almost as quiet as clicking the button on a Q-beam.
Yeah.
It's, God dang it. We never, guys, come on.
See, the trick.
Y'all gotta stop.
The trick
Like,
is
you're
you,
not
gotta,
gonna be able to.
you get a wet cloth and put it on the floor. That way you can just lay it on
Jesus,
there, so you don't have to
stop.
worry about turning it on. Because they'll run when you hear the click. Who uses a Q-beam anymore?
Poor people.
I got thermals.
Yep.
All right. Hey, if our producer's listening, I'm going to tell you to edit this
Allegedly.
out. No. So I had he can edit this out. Oh, fuck. YouTube. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, 22's bad.
You got it all over me.
I forgot it. Get it in mind. No self-incriminating stuff. Anyways, 22's awesome. That's what this whole show's about.
You could have as much fun as you ever wanted, whether you have a pest or vermin problem, you're a little hungry in a survival situation,
Or
you're
a
just
neighbor that won't shut up and you need to make them disappear and you already got a hold of it.
there you go.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Or you're a 6-year-old kid with a overactive imagination, and you're robbing state coaches as they come down the river.
God dang.
Or you're a kid on the wall of the Alamo shooting Mexican dove off the bird feeder.
They're the worst kind.
Yeah.
Racist?
They're storming the walls.
They're storming the walls,
That was
sir.
Texas seed independence, sir.
Love you guys. Love all of y'all for listening. Thank you so much. We've had a blast. We always have a blast. We get to do this. While you're listening to this, we are headed towards Montana to kill the black bears. And
Well, they are. I'm not. Somebody's got to run the store.
he's right. Yeah, he's the bear that stays here.
That's
Hey
true.
guys, if you're
Not
looking
your Austin kind of
for
bear.
somebody and you're feeling kind of lonely and you feel embarrassed, this guy right here, he's got you covered. He's burly, he's big, he's sensitive. He covers all the bases.
And you can't afford me.
And when I say all the bases,
I don't know. And if,
all the bases.
and if you're ever looking for a Wish.com rip from Yellowstone,
I got a beat.
He does. He really does.
really,
Burt Reynolds, who likes burgers.
I see that.
Which is better than Burt Reynolds with Asperger's.
It's Burger Reynolds.
Oh
That
my
should
God.
be the new McDonald's mascot.
You just
Burger
got
Reynolds.
up until now it was Dusty Muffins.
Now
but
it's Burger Reynolds.
Burger Reynolds.
Which he's probably going to like because he hates the first one.
Oh,
No Dusty
absolutely.
Muffins, only because you saw the Saturday Night Live skit, which is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Until you showed it to me, I didn't have a problem with it.
Well, I had it. I can't call you something if you don't know like the
Oh, there's
inside
I didn't know
joke.
there was a skit. I thought it was just some crap we made up.
I did too.
You never saw the skit?
No.
With Dusty Muffins?
I'll Google it now, but it's news to me.
With Betty, oh my gosh. what's
Betty
her-
White.
Betty White?
Yeah.
Nope.
Talking about her dusty old muff.
Dude, that's the
In-
best thing ever.
He was so cool.
All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Actually, I think we got another episode or two, and then we should have some really cool
We'll
episodes
give you a play-by-play
from
from
the mountains
Montana.
of Montana. And it's not just play-by-play. I believe we're going to record an episode or two unless we're dead or close to it. We're going to record an episode or two in Montana.
Well, there's got to be one
I mean-
survivor.
Yeah, even
Somebody's got to tell the tale.
yeah, that's that. You gotta leave one. So
Yeah. It's like the Goonies.
one of us will be back.
How do they find out? All right, guys.
Bye,
Thanks.
everybody.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a beautiful time.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Circle Star Firearms and Outdoors podcast with your hosts Jake Cawthon and Jason Westmoreland. Be sure and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. New episodes drop every Monday and catch up in between episodes on the Circle Star Minute every Friday. For more information, visit CircleStarFirearms.com, or better yet, come see our great new store at 6320 Highway 90 in Anderson, Texas. Until next time, safe shooting, folks.